Today we will do El Rayo, Jose Valenzuela's Boxrec. Let's talk.
Straighter, not roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about, the straight shot, the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a little bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right? I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the great, the best competition.
Now, y'all, with Rayo being like a hyped up name now because he beat Pitbull, which we'll get to. It only makes sense to go into this man's Boxrec. So let's just dive right into it. All right. Rayo is 14-2 with 9 KOs and 1 KO loss. He's got a 64% knockout ratio. He's 25 years old. He's 5'10". On Box Live it says he's 5'8", but on Boxrec it says he's 5'10". He's got a 70-inch reach. On Boxrec it says he's a southpaw, but on Box Live it says he's an orthodox fighter. Whatever. And he's fought a total of 73 rounds. So he's the Ring Magazine ranked number 10 or lineal champion number 10. He's number 17 ranked in the world. I'm trying to figure out the difference between the world rankings and the lineal rankings because they should be the same. So I'm still working on trying to figure that out. He's a WBA champion, so of course he wouldn't be ranked in any of the sanctioning bodies. With that being said, let's just get right into this man's resume. Now, his first fight was against Humberto Telles. Boom. Hugo Rodriguez. Nobody. Christian Velez. Boom. Eric Manriquez. Boom. Charles Clark. Trash. Zach Kun. Trash. Clay Burns. Trash. Nelson Hampton. 7-3. Gatekeeper. Not even a gatekeeper, just a step up. Dante Strawhorn. Step up. Derriere Barriere. Another step up. So if I'm looking at this, if you look at the fights that he fought to get to Derriere Barriere, it looks like they're actually moving him correctly, to be honest. So you're fighting another nobody. A dude's got a victory. Then you're fighting a guy with a couple of victories and a lot of losses. Then a few victories, a lot of losses. Few victories, a lot of losses. More victories but losses, right? Then some more victories, a lot of losses, and then you step him up to Nelson Hampton. Now you got more victories and less losses. Now you got even more victories and less losses, right? Even more victories, less losses, and a draw with Derriere Barriere. So it seems like they moved him up correctly. They were moving him through the ranks correctly, or moving him through the fights correctly. Austin Dulé, 14 wins, only 2 losses, right? These guys with a lot of wins and only 2 losses, these guys are good to step up opponents because they are still in the mindset and the belief that only got 2 losses. That's their mindset, right? So yeah, this guy might be undefeated, but he's only got X amount of wins. Now I got more wins than him, but I only got 2 losses. So I'm more experienced, right? They have that mindset. So these are actually quality step-up fights. Francisco Vargas, another quality step-up fight. Francisco Vargas has fought a bunch of people. A bunch of people. He hasn't beaten nobody, but he's at least fought them, right? He's fought, as you see, 27, 3, and 2. Well, the 3 and 2 are the names that he beat. That he fought. And he lost all of them. Or got a draw. That is a step up from the Austin Dulé. He's got a name. He's fought competition. He might not have beat any of them, but he's fought those guys. Got 2 draws and everything. So it's like, okay, this is another step up fight. So they moved, from what I'm looking at, they moved him correctly. All right. The De Los Santos fight, if you look at the wins versus the losses, this was in the same trajectory. If you look at the wins versus the losses, De Los Santos had 14 wins and only 1 loss. If you look at the trajectory of how they were moving Rayo, De Los Santos was a logical fight, right? This is, I'm going to move you up now to fight somebody who's a puncher. This is a puncher now, right? He's a big puncher. So I'm going to move you up to this. He's only got 1 loss. He's a big puncher. This is putting you on the path to championship status, right? To championship fights. So fighting him, he got knocked out in the 3rd round, but he got up though. He got up when he got knocked down. He got knocked out in the 3rd round, but he got up. He got knocked down in the 3rd, but he got up, y'all. So where he got knocked down, but he got up. He ended up getting knocked out in the 3rd. But that wasn't the end of him, because they put him right back in there with Chris Colbert, another guy with 16 wins, 1 loss at the time, but he was not known as a puncher. So putting him in there, you put him in there with the guy with who was a puncher to see how his chin did. He got knocked out, right? He only had 1 loss. Then you put him in there with Chris Colbert, a guy who can box circles around people, but he's not known as a puncher, and you lose. But you was doing good in that fight. So what does someone who is moving their fighter correctly do? I'll put you back in there with Chris Colbert. And then he ended up knocking him out. This is a career, from what I'm looking at, on the ranks of the fighters that was moved correctly, right? And then you put him back in there with a puncher, but a puncher who is smaller. The puncher you put him back in with before was bigger than you. Edwin Dill is a big dude. But you put him in there now with a puncher to check to see if he's learned anything, if he's gained anything. And you see that he beat Isaac Pitbull Cruz. You're now putting him in there with Gary Antoine Russell, who is a puncher and a boxer. He's a combination of Colbert and Edwin De Los Santos. The way that they moved this man's career, in my eyes, they moved Rayo correctly, in my eyes. Now, if you look at the level of competition that he fought, Francisco Vargas, that's a step up. De Los Santos, Colbert, Isaac Cruz, and his upcoming fight with Gary Antoine Russell. All of his last opponents, all of them, are actually good opponents, y'all. I wouldn't say, well, I'm not gonna say good, but all of them are good, because, you know, Vargas is not good, but De Los Santos is decent, really decent. Chris Colbert was looked at as the next one. Isaac Cruz has got all of his hype and hoopla from Tank Davis. So if you look at who he fought now, these are his opponents. If you're looking at who he fought, this resume is decent, bro. For him to only have a total of 16 fights, and yet out of 16 fights, he's already fought these names already, or he's fought 4 of these names, and he's about to fight the 5th. This is good, y'all. This is moving this man correctly, and him about to fight Gary Antoine this is a good fight for him, y'all. This is a really good fight. I really like looking at this man's trajectory and his career of how they're moving him. I really like how they're moving him. You don't really see him fighting in 5-rounders, 6-rounders, and then all of a sudden a 10-rounder and a 12-rounder, and then back to a 4-rounder or a 6-rounder, which I see a lot when I'm going through these Boxrecs. Right? This man was moved up as slowly, bam. Then they put him in, tested him. He's successful. Put him in again with another guy, tested him. Bam, he was successful. Another guy tested him. He was unsuccessful. Put him back with another guy. He was successful. And then rematched the guy, and now putting him in. I like how Rayo was moved. After looking at how his career, how his trajectory is going, I like how he was moved, man. I really do. This is a very tough fight for him. But if he's successful, man, the sky's the limit for him. He's got the complexion for the protection. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. He's a 60% knockout, a 64% knockout ratio, so he can punch, he can box, which he showed by fighting Pitbull Cruz. With this level of competition that he's already fought, then hell, I mean, the thing for him to do would be, if he gets past this while he's waiting for a unification or something like that, maybe rematch De Los Santos. Because if he can beat Gary Russell, Gary Russell is a combination of De Los Santos and Sugarfoot Sherbert, Chris Colbert. He's a combination of the two, a puncher who can box. So if you beat Gary Russell, who's a combination of the two, well, then it's only right for you to go back and get that loss that you got. You avenged the one from Colbert. So it would only be right to avenge the one with De Los Santos. Even if you just box the man, don't try to knock the man out, just box him and prove that you're a superior boxer. Bro, that's saying something. Because like I said, Edwin De Los Santos is a big dude, bro. He can move to 40, no problem. No problem. He's a big guy. So, I mean, I would think that would be a realistic and logical fight if Rayo is while he's waiting for a unification or a big fight. That's a big fight for him. That's a really big fight for him. But I know his goal will be if he, and I heard him today say, you know, he wants to unify and fight some of the big names, you know, when he gets past Gary, if he gets past Gary. But, you know, that's a whole different story right there. But I'm just saying, like, I think how they moved his career, I'm cool. Like, I like how they moved it. I really am. I think they moved him. This is one of the careers that I seen actually moved correctly. The level of competition slowly stepped up, and then they tested him with a puncher. He failed. But then they tested him with a boxer. He was successful, right? Well, he failed that one, but he was successful during the fight, and a lot of people thought he won that fight. So they put him back in there, and he knocked the man out. So it's like, then they put him back in there with a puncher who just wasn't as big as De Los Santos, and he was successful. So now they're putting him in there with a boxer and a puncher to see what he does. And if he beats him, bro, I like how they're moving him, y'all. I really, really do. And he's young. He's 25 years old. So he's got a lot of time to be successful and to build a legacy. His losses doesn't mean anything, bro. Who did he lose to? It's not like he lost to some nobodies. So, yeah, man, I like how Rayo's being moved. I'm interested in this fight big time. I think this is probably the best fight on the card. That's my opinion. People might not agree with it, but it's mine. So I'm really excited about this, man. I'm excited about his career. I'm excited about what he got next going on with this fight with Gary Russell. Yeah, this is one of the Boxrecs that I've done so far, one of the best that I've done, that I'm actually pleased with what I saw. So salute to Rayo, man. And I can't wait to see what he got going on next. BFTB, man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And I'm out. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, subscribe to my Patreon. And if you feel like supporting me, please support me in the PayPal or the Cashapp.